If I woke up 30 pounds overweight and wanted to lose it all in the next 90 days, this is exactly what I'd do. And this is the exact system I used with Chad and Meg, who lost a combined 65 pounds working with me, despite going on multiple vacations with their kids, working full time, all while just working out 3 times per week and not having to cut out any of their favorite foods. So if you're ready to become unrecognizable in the next 3 months, here's exactly what to do. So in this video, first I'll be going over the 2 things that matter for cracking the code on how to lose weight. It's honestly so stupid simple you can't mess it up. But if this is all you do, you'll end up getting flabby and skinny fat instead of lean. So in step 2, I'll go over the 3 key factors you need to maximize what percentage of that weight loss is coming from fat and how to maintain or even build some lean muscle along the way. And lastly, I'm assuming you don't want to immediately regain the weight after 3 months. So in step 3, I'll be going over the key factors in making sure you feel as good as possible so that you can make this a true lifestyle change and keep the weight off for life. So how do you lose weight? The first law of thermodynamics states energy cannot be created or destroyed. So in order to lose weight, we need to create a net negative energy balance in your body, meaning you are burning more calories than you're consuming. This is how every diet works. Keto works by eliminating carbs in your diet, which decreases calories. Fasting works by decreasing the amount of meals you're eating, which decreases calories. Counting your calories works by, well, decreasing calories. Gluten-free, dairy-free, paleo, cutting out processed foods, cutting out sugar, they all lead to weight loss by decreasing calories. So step 1 is to find your maintenance calories. This is how many calories you can eat and maintain your current weight. I'll be using my calorie calculator that you can snag in the description below with our Fat Loss Accelerator kit, but let me walk you through it. And real quick before we do, I'm going to cover the number 1 thing that we'll be using to increase your calories outside of this equation. This is where many people go wrong. They focus only on decreasing calories in, but since they aren't moving that much in their day, they have to eat next to nothing and they burn out. The most flexible, predictable, sustainable, and objective way to increase your calories out is with a step count. Most people are thinking they need to get in the gym and do cardio to burn calories, but this is honestly a pretty overrated way to burn calories. It's great for brain and heart health, but you'd pretty much have to live in the gym to create a significant impact of calorie burn. Plus, higher intensity exercises like this increase your appetite much more than walking does. So you can end up eating those calories right back. So I want you to aim for a bare minimum of 8,000 steps a day long term. But during this fat loss phase, we need to be up in the 10 to 15,000 range, especially since we want to drop 30 pounds in just 3 months. We're going to need to bring that activity up so we don't have to cut our calories super low. I'd recommend a morning and evening walk outside, then take work breaks throughout your day or get a walking pad for your desk to stack the steps while you work. So all you're going to do, and once again, this is in the Fat Loss Accelerator kit you can get below. Male or female, you're going to select your age. Next. And there will be a video on here, but you can ignore this because we've reviewed everything you need to know in this video. So then you're going to put in your weight, your height, and then your activity. So there's an activity guide. If you click here, check out our activity guide. And like I just mentioned, we want a bare minimum of moderately active. And remember, this is what you need to be hitting every single day. It should be at your average for the entire 7 days of the week. So bare minimum, I think most of us probably going to pick moderately, but we don't want to go below that, especially if we want to be losing enough weight week over week. If we're lightly active or sedentary, we're just not going to be able, we're going to have to cut our calories next to nothing to see progress. So I'm going to choose moderately active. And then all you're going to do is enter your information. And for what are your goals, you'll select fat loss and hit calculate. So this is your maintenance calories. There's going to be more information here, but really all you need to know is this top number. Now that we have our maintenance calories, we need to adjust those based on your goal. So if you want to lose 1 pound per week, you need to subtract 500 calories a day. If you want to lose 2 pounds per week, you need to subtract 1,000 calories per day. And if you want to lose 3 pounds per week, you need to subtract 1,500 calories per day. Now you're going to eat this many calories every day, regardless of whether you work out or not. Quick note here, your watch estimates are terrible at estimating how much you burn. And if we just hold steps and calories consistent, we can drown out all the noise and then adjust based on what our body does. Now that we have our starting calorie set, the most important part is adjusting. All these calculators and estimates are just estimates. And if you don't adjust properly, it doesn't matter if you follow it because your body will react differently. So after 2 weeks, here's how you'll adjust. Take your average daily weigh-in the morning after going to the bathroom before you get dressed. Compare that to your average daily weigh-in from week 1. And now we just adjust accordingly. And you can do one of two things. You can add steps, which I'd recommend, or you can subtract calories. To get an additional 1 pound loss per week, you'll need to add 10,000 steps per day or subtract another 500 calories per day. Or you can use a combination of the two. If you did half steps and half calories, you'd add another 5,000 steps per day and subtract 250 calories per day. And look, consistency is key. Do not adjust if you went off the rails on the weekend or something, because that's not an accurate average of what you were actually eating. From here, we just rinse and repeat every 2 weeks. This is exactly how you lose weight. Step 2. This is going to ensure the majority of your weight loss is coming from fat and not muscle. There are 3 important pieces here. First and most important is lifting weights. Muscle is expensive metabolically, meaning it takes a lot of energy to keep it around. So if you're losing weight and your body has no reason to keep muscle, it's going to ditch it. Think of it like cutting from your budget to save money. You're going to look at the most expensive subscriptions you have first. And if you aren't using them, they'll be the first to get canceled. So by lifting weights, we send a signal to our body that we need to keep this tissue around. Use your time in the gym to send this signal, not to burn calories. Although we will burn some, it's just not the purpose of our time in the gym. We have the steps for that. The great part is that you only need 2 to 4 days per week in the gym to send a strong signal here. I'd recommend running a full body plan that looks like this, and just alternating day A and B according to how many days per week you're going. If you want this plan along with a logbook, just hit the link in the description to get it for free as part of our Fat Loss Accelerator kit. The most important factor when it comes to lifting weights is that you keep your exercises consistent for 4 to 6 weeks at a time and push yourself close to failure on each set. This means it's super tough to get those last few reps in. Rest enough to get your breath back, 1 to 3 minutes or so, and make sure you are tracking your workouts to add 1 to 2 reps or 5 to 10 pounds on each movement week over week. My favorite way to do this is the double progression method. You have a rep range, say 6 to 10, and you aim to land in that range. Then each week, keep aiming for more reps until you get more than 10. Then increase the weight and go back to around 6. And repeat. High reps, low weight, or high weight, low reps doesn't really make a large difference when it comes to stimulating muscle growth. If you're pushing yourself close to failure and equate for the total work done each week, we don't really see a difference. Now, just like weight training sends the signal to keep your muscle mass, protein is the most important piece of your nutrition because it provides the raw building blocks of muscle mass. Macros are all the rage, but we actually don't see a large difference between going higher fat, lower carb, or higher carb, lower fat if you equate total calories and protein intake. You'll see right here that various diets lead to about 75% fat mass loss and 25% lean mass loss, except for the high protein diet, which is 90% fat mass loss. This means you're keeping more muscle and looking much better after the weight comes off. So I'd recommend a bare minimum of 0.7 grams of protein per pound of body weight. This will keep you super full and minimize muscle loss paired with your strength training. Ideally, you're spreading it out throughout the day, but for results, the total intake of calories and protein are most important, however you can hit them. Now, the last and final contributor to what percentage of your weight loss comes from fat is your sleep. Even without the muscle protective effects, it's a no-brainer that you need to prioritize sleep to make sure you have the energy, mood, and motivation to stick to this plan. Lack of sleep also increases carb cravings, so it's a net negative all around. This study here found that getting 5.5 hours of sleep compared to 8.5 led to half the fat loss over 14 days, despite similar total weight loss. Now, I know you might be thinking 8.5 hours is damn near impossible, but with your strength training and protein intake on point, aiming to get 7 hours is going to get you most of the way there. But potentially even more important than getting 7 hours of sleep is your sleep regularity and quality. In fact, one study showed higher sleep regularity was associated with a 20 to 48% lower risk of all-cause mortality It's also been shown to improve cognitive function, physical performance, and overall well-being, even if you don't sleep more hours. So how do we optimize sleep quality? Consistent sleep and wake times, get 10 minutes of sunlight in the mornings, cut off caffeine early, establish a wind down routine before bed, block blue light after sunset with some blue light blocking glasses, stop eating a few hours before bed, keep your bedroom dark and cold overnight, and then just supplement with some magnesium before bed, and you're going to see it totally transform. All right, so now that we're getting predictable and consistent weight loss, we're maximizing how much of that weight loss is coming from fat, let's go over how to maximize how you feel along the way to make this as easy as possible, keep us full, and make this a complete lifestyle shift that will last for the rest of your life. Remember how I said calories are all that matter? They are, but if you ignore the content of those calories, over time, you're going to feel like shit. You won't be getting vital micronutrients. You won't be staying full at all, so you'll be starving, and it'll just be 10 times harder. So first and foremost, a great proxy for food quality is fiber. Aim to get 25 grams if you're a woman and 35 grams if you're a man from fruits, vegetables, and whole grains. Aim to get the majority of your calories from these foods on the screen 80% of the time. Beyond this, include whatever you'd like in moderation. If you're maintaining a healthy body weight, getting most of your food most of the time from those sources, including anything else, is barely going to have any effect on your health whatsoever. All the reasons we see negative health effects correlated with food dyes, specific ingredients, sugar, carbs, and whatever else you see gurus fear-mongering about, those negative effects pretty much disappear when we control for calorie intake and body fat percentage. Now, your total calories and protein will determine most of your success, but there are some general recommendations around meal timing I recommend. First things first is general consistency. Your body expects food to arrive around certain times in the day and improves its insulin sensitivity and body processes to utilize it better at those times. Fasting is all the rage these days, but I'd actually recommend eating a big breakfast with a ton of protein and fiber to start the day. It'll keep you more full, and that way you can be a bit more flexible for dinner when your willpower and energy are lower. Honestly, I just recommend eating 3 meals a day with minimal snacking in between. Now, to top off how we feel, we can utilize supplements. The best supplement is going to be creatine. This will help with muscle gain, toning, strengthen the gym, and even support your brain. Take 5 to 10 grams per day, but if you have a rough night of sleep, you can actually bump that up to 10 to 20 grams to support your focus and cognition that day. Next, I'd recommend vitamin D. This is not a replacement for sunlight, but most of us are deficient even if we live in warmer climates. 5,000 IUs per day for most people is a great starting point. Did you know that most Americans are actually deficient in magnesium? I'd recommend a magnesium glycinate supplement before bed to support sleep quality and thousands of reactions in your body. I actually drink a supplement called Pre-Sleep that has magnesium, theanine, and glycine, and I can put that link below. And then lastly, the EPA and DHA content in fatty fish leads to improvements in heart health, inflammation, and even mood and cognition. If you aren't eating fatty fish 2 or more times per week, I'd look for a quality EPA and DHA supplement, getting you a combined 2 grams of EPA and DHA every single day. Now, of course, 90% of this battle is actually staying consistent with this. So if you want 35 tips to make it 10 times easier, go watch this video next.